Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. A couple things. This is the first episode I am doing since Alan Lee's passing. Alan Lee died actually yesterday, and I released a tribute for him, so check that out on the podcast. Um, but the show must go on. I was thinking about taking some time off and just I don't know, not doing the podcast for a while, but I know he wouldn't want that. So that's I was flirting with that idea, but the more I thought about it, he would want me to continue because that was one of the cool things about Alan was he was just so impressed how many guests we were getting. And yeah, it's true. The past year or so, he's missed a lot more than usual. But he was going through health issues and work issues and stuff, and I've said that before. But I just wanted to disclaim it because people do listen to different episodes and they kind of go reverse. Um, so I'll probably use that disclaimer for the next couple ones just in case, just so you could get a vibe that Alan Lee is not coming back, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, we are on Patreon. You could become the different tiers on Patreon at www.patreon.com/razorriff61. There's three tiers. Third tier, we release the video and you get a free cameo from me, and you get the podcast as a couple days early. Second tier, you get the podcast a couple days early, a free cameo, and I thank you. And then first tier is just me thanking you. So yeah, support the show that way. That would be cool. I'm very excited for this guest. She's a acting teacher and a director. She directed this movie called Hello Herman, uh, How to Go Out on Dating Queens. And I actually just saw this movie maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago called Miranda's Victim. And it was kind of weird. Oh, the great Michelle Daner is her name. It was kind of weird how this interview came into my lap because I was watching Miranda's Victim, and I thought it was a brilliant movie. And then because I write a lot of people, and sometimes I get pitched to people. And then one of the people I got pitched was Michelle Danner. I was like, oh no, that has to be a sign because I literally just saw this movie. So I thought that was kind of cool in a way. So I'm actually been very excited for this one. Um, yeah, she's also an acting teacher, and she's taught some pretty big actors. Jared Butler, uh, which is the great Ashley Greene's favorite actor. Hello, Ashley. James Franco, Michelle Rodriguez, Luke Wilson. Um, she's taught so many people. So I'm very excited to get inside her head and just see what makes her pop. Uh, if you guys are new to the show, thank you for sticking around. This is something Michael Rosenbaum does on his podcast, and I kind of stole it from him. I like it. It's a good idea. I can't do it though because it's his podcast, but I have done a few episodes. But since I started it, I'll finish on this one. If you're fans of Michelle Danner and you came to listen, we hope you stick around because we got a lot of great guests. And if you're a newcomer, welcome. Stick around. All that jazz. Subscribe, rate, review. And guys, enjoy Razor Riffs with Michelle Danner. It's going to be great. And we'll see you guys soon on the Riffs.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Razor Riffs with your host, Keith Reza.
Oh, hey, Michelle.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Everything's good.
Oh, excellent. I like the clock in the background there. That's cool.
So this is not image, right? It's just sound?
It's just I just released the audio. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, okay. Because I
Yeah.
have no makeup on. I mean, very little makeup on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Me too, which is why I do not release the video.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
great.
So I was saying this in the opening remarks. I think that it's kind of like fate in a way that I'm interviewing you because whoa, there's a dog in the background. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh but I was
Well, quiet it
watching.
down.
Oh no no.
I'll
Oh.
I'll get them into another room. Hang on.
Oh no no, it's fine.
There. You were watching what?
I was watching Miranda's Victim like 2 or 3 weeks ago before I found out I was interviewing you. So I just thought like that was kind of like a weird fate type of thing, you know. So I thought that was really cool. So I've been very excited to interview you because I love that movie.
Thank you. Well, go on Rotten Tomatoes. Don't give it a 10 because the algorithm, they don't pick up the 10s. They just pick up the 8s and the 9s.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but go on Google and Rotten Tomato and rate it. That would be really helpful. IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes are the very helpful ones. Those
Yeah.
two.
Oh, nice. Well,
Okay, especially since you said you liked it.
yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. And I wanted to know how did you get involved in directing that because that movie and then I found out it was a true story. So I was like, "Holy
Yeah.
Lord." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very lucky. It was offered to me and I realized how lucky I was.
Yeah. So
Have we started already? Did you push
oh
the
yeah,
button?
yeah. Yeah, well, it's starting.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I was very lucky to be offered this movie because what are the chances as a filmmaker to be asked to direct something that the story that had never been told?
Yeah.
And so I'm amazed at that every month of my life since they approached me. How did I get to direct something that hasn't been told? And so, I felt very lucky.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome too because like I said, I didn't realize it was a true story until after the movie, you know, when it shows like what happened to the characters and stuff, then I was like, "Oh my god, it's a true story." And
Yeah.
I just I just thought like as a director, like how did you like did you do a lot of research to bring in a lot of the truth into the story? Like how much of it was like
Well,
visually.
yes, but George Colbert, who found the story, he did a lot of the research. He's the one that asked the questions. He read all the court transcripts. I mean, I did as well.
Yeah.
Of course, the moment that I realized I was going to direct it, I immersed myself and watched like every courtroom drama that's been ever done, courtroom thriller, uh, mysteries.
Yeah.
My whole life, I've always joked, my sisters have always made great fun of me because I have always watched all the Datelines and the 48 Hours and the Forensic Files.
Oh, I
And my
love that
sister's,
stuff.
I'm watching one of those again. And I'm like, well, guess what? It paid off. But yeah, no, I love those mystery shows. And so, and this was a fascinating story in terms of what happened and how the Miranda rights came about. I directed a movie called The Runner.
Yeah.
And the first scene, this young kid gets arrested and he gets read his Miranda rights. I never thought of questioning, like, well, where did that come from, the Miranda rights? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Um, so now we know the true story.
So that's like a little form of fate too, where you were directing the runner, and then that scene came in, and then now you directed this movie. You know, like so it's like a
Right.
sign in a way.
Yeah, The Runner, I think, did very well on the festival circuit, and it got me noticed. It got me on a list of female directors, and George was looking for a female director to do this.
Yeah.
And he approached me, and this other wonderful writer approached me, um and yeah, I really thought it was a fascinating story about justice and how justice came full circle. It wasn't just about justice in a court of law, it was personal justice. And then at the end of the movie, I'm not going to give it away, but it was karmic justice.
Yeah. How intense was it directing Luke Wilson and Ryan Phillip in those scenes because they were both so dynamic. I was just like, holy Lord, you know?
Yeah, there's a little tiny moment that I love at the very beginning of the trial where Luke Wilson sits down and Ryan Phillippe looks over at him and sizes him up.
Yeah,
And I thought to myself, especially because there's a big trial going on in our country right now, the prosecution and the defense, they're like actors on a stage and they come and they size each other up and they, play the ace card or they choose when to play the ace card or what cards to play.
yeah,
Um, I think I'm very fascinated with what happens in a court of law.
yeah. Well, it was a wonderful movie, so well done, and thank you for
Thank
directing that because I thought it was great. So,
Thank you. I had a wonderful cast. Felt very lucky and privileged. Like I said, I keep using the word lucky, 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 but I felt lucky, to work with Donald Sutherland, to work with Andy Garcia. Now, wouldn't you know it, that to work with Abigail Breslin. So I did another movie with Abigail Breslin right after I did Miranda's Victim. I did a movie called The Italians, which is doing the festival circuit right now.
the one that's
It's
out
gonna
right now, right?
it's doing the festival circuit. It's not out yet. It's gonna come out in October.
Oh,
It's
this is
called
awesome.
The Italians. It's about an Italian American family, and then the son brings home the girlfriend that he's been dating for a little while, and all hell comes after that. Um, so it's look who I'm bringing to dinner. Look who's coming for dinner.
Yeah,
Um, but it's fun. It was a fun comedy that we did. Rob Estes
yeah.
is in it. I also get to act in it. Matthew Daddario is in it. Perry Reeves is in it.
Wow.
Uh, David DeLuise is in it.
Is it
Um,
hard? Is it hard for you to direct yourself? Like, how do you do that?
Oh, and before I just want to say Lainey Kazan is in it.
Oh,
I
Lenny
don't want
Kizan.
Olivia Lucard is in it. There's a great cast that's in this movie.
Yeah,
Um, I didn't find it difficult. I also had a wonderful crew and a great support system.
yeah,
So I did not find it difficult. It wasn't stressful. It was well organized. It did happen. It did help that out of the 18 days, I believe 11 of those days we shot in the same location, this house
yeah.
that is their house, where all the dinners happen and a lot of the action happens in this house. Um, so it was contained. And then we went to shoot in a church and we went to shoot on a sound stage and we went to shoot in another apartment and on the street.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. I just really remember it as being a joyous experience.
Now you said that this one took you 18 days to film, and I don't know much about like movies. I've only done one movie, but I feel like the two scenes I was in that took 18 days. So I was like, I was just wondering, like, is it like,
It's fast. It's
yeah,
too fast. I want more time. But we did it. I mean, we did it, and I certainly don't regret it. And we got everything. I didn't need to do any reshoots. I didn't need to do any pickup shots. We got it all in principal photography.
oh, nice. So is this the fastest you've ever done on a movie, or is it like 18 days, 20 days usually your timeline that you do when you film?
Well, I did a lot of 18 days. I did 28 days in Miranda's Victim.
Yeah.
I just shot a movie in Italy. I just came back.
Oh, nice.
And with Andy Garcia and Tony Collette and Alex Pettifer and Eva Di Domenici, um, wonderful actors. And we did that in 24 days. Initially, we were going to do it in 29 days, and we were able to do it in 24.
Yeah.
I mean, 24 days, 25 days is a good number. 18 is too short. 28 is good. It depends what the movie is.
Yeah.
I have a movie that I'm attached to right now, a big space movie that I'm going to direct called Helios. And I can't have to look, but I think it's 35 days.
Oh,
Um, so you want to have the time to do it right, is
yeah,
basically the bottom line. Yeah.
definitely. And then I wanted to ask you about how to go out on a date in Queens because that was like a romantic comedy type of thing. So I wanted to know like how do you direct comedy compared to drama? Like how does your mindset go to that?
Um, I don't, I like different genres. I'm basically a person that is very eclectic in her tastes, whether it comes to art, to music, to movies. I'm very eclectic.
Uh,
So I love different genres. So, but I think you have to really understand the genre of the movie. You have to understand this movie that I just did was romantic, and one of my inspirations was a movie called Before Sunrise with
oh,
Ethan
with
Hawke,
love
Julie
that movie.
Delpy, Richard Linklater movie. And it was really wonderful because it was about watching two people fall in love in front of our eyes. And that was a great inspiration for me for this movie that I just did, Under the Stars. So I think every time you make a movie, you'll find with the Italians, one of my big inspirations was Terms of Endearment and Moonstruck.
Oh, okay.
When you do a movie, there's always something that inspires you. The Accused was a big inspiration for me in Miranda's Victim.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I thought you brought up Before Sunset. I thought that that whole trilogy was so good because there's three films. You know, I don't know
Uh,
remember which one was first or second, but I thought they were all just
First,
brilliant.
Before Sunrise was first.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was before midnight, before sunset, but I watched all three and I loved all three.
yeah. Ethan Hawke is one of my favorites because I feel he's so underrated. You know, where like he's not appreciated for the stuff he does do. I thought he was fantastic in those. But
Well, he's
he
a wonderful actor. Yeah.
yeah. And then you also teach acting. And I want to know like what got you like involved in doing that? Like
Well, I think as I look back now in hindsight, everything was a stepping stone. So I really started to act first, was the first thing that I signed up for was acting.
yeah.
And and I love to act. I think it's a very good experience to get out of your head and not to be thinking for however much long it is that you're not thinking. So that acting is a love of mine. From there, I started to coach actors.
Mhm.
And it was a turning point where I had to go on all these auditions, but they were taking me to all different parts of town in Los Angeles. Or I could coach seven actors that had called me that needed coachings. So here on one hand, I was gonna coach the seven actors. On the other hand, I was gonna get in my car and drive from here to there to there. It was gonna be a whole day thing. So
Yeah.
I had to choose. I couldn't do both. So I called my agent, who I believe dropped me after that, and canceled the auditions and stayed and started to coach. And I found a lot of fulfillment in helping other actors because I studied at a very young age with Stella Adler and with Uta Hagen and Herbert Bergdorf and Stephen Strumpel and so many other teachers in New York that enlightened me and taught me about the craft of acting. And I've always been passionate about what it takes to make a great acting moment, a great
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah. So when you coach actors and stuff like do you go over like say they have like a couple pages for the audition, do you go over script analyze what they're going to say and what they want to say or like how do you get in
You
their
know,
head?
working with actors has always been very intuitive. It's nobody is the same.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm a great believer in, as I found schools for my kids, to find progressive schools because things change, everything changes, education changes, and nothing stays the same. So no one's the same. There's no two people that are alike. Some people need the script analysis. Some people don't need to talk a lot. Some people just need to talk less. Some
Yeah.
people need to talk a whole lot more. You have to really work it off, take it off of the actor and what's going on and the project. I always say that. Sometimes you'll audition for something and you'll have to do a lot of work to audition for that. Sometimes you don't have to do a lot of work. It's called NAR, no acting required.
Yeah, yeah. I know all about the no acting required formula.
How come?
Well, that was how I got my only movie was just because I do stand-up comedy. So the producer saw me do stand-up and he comes up to me and he's like, Keith, because that's my name. He's like, Hey, Keith, I think you would be great in this movie about a bank robbery. And I was like, Oh, okay, because my dream is to do movies, right?
Wow.
And it's the worst movie in the world.
It's like the movie The Disaster Artist.
Yeah, it's probably worse than The Disaster Artist. It's called Terrible People, and like I said, I was only in two scenes, but I was there for a long time, and I just feel like, oh no, I just didn't enjoy it. So maybe I'm not a good actor. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was really a waste of my time, I guess, to be honest with you.
Oh, well then no, that was not a good experience.
Yeah, but I got that whole no acting requirement formula treatment. You know what I mean? So.
Right, 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 right.
But then you've also like taught a lot of or coached a lot of famous actors too, where like I wanted to know like how did they like how do the your past meet with them? Like is it just former students and then they become successful and then they call you and say, Hey, Michelle, I need help, or like how does that work?
It's a multitude of different ways that I get, to coach people. A lot of it is referrals, a lot of it is, people that throughout the years, um, became famous and got offered parts. Um, One of the actors, and I cast a lot of actors that I work with,
Yeah.
both the known actors and unknown actors. Um, And I follow the careers of many actors that I've coached with. I was the first teacher of an actor called Enrique Murciano, who's a wonderful actor, who played the detective Cooley in Miranda's Victim.
Oh my God, he was fantastic in that.
He's fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic actor.
He's also on fuck, what's it called? The Night Agent or
Yes,
something.
on the Night
Yeah.
Agent, he was on Without a Trace, he was on Bloodline. I loved him on Bloodline. I love him in everything he does. And I've always said every single time that I have gotten ready to, cast and to make a movie, I call him up. I go, "Hey, you're free?" And he's never free because he's always working. Um, and this time it was the same thing. Miranda's Victim. He goes, "I can't do it. I'm doing a show. I'm up in Canada." And then I think he asked him to be killed off so he could come to Miranda's Victim.
Oh my
Um,
God. That's pretty cool.
yeah, he's just great.
What's your favorite places to shoot? Because Canada is like a big movie shooting area
No,
where
I've
like
never shot in Canada, and I'm looking forward to doing that. I just finished shooting in Italy, in Puglia, Italy, and I joke that when they called me and they said, "You want to shoot in Puglia?" They had me there. They had me at Puglia. It's in the south of Italy.
yeah.
It's beautiful, beyond beautiful. We shot in something called La Masseria, which I had no idea that that word even existed before I went to Italy to do this. And it's a farm, basically. La Masseria is a farm.
Yeah.
And the food was incredible. I mean, I'm back here to tell you, I lost weight and I came back and I gained some of it because, our food is not as good as the food in Italy. I mean, that's a fact.
Oh.
With all the health stuff, and I live in LA, all the health stuff that goes on here, it just doesn't compare. You go
Yeah.
to any supermarket and you buy any piece of chicken there and you cook it and it tastes so good.
Yeah.
Um, and of course the mozzarella and everything else, but it's just the milk, the butter, the bread, everything. It's really, really good. And you can eat a lot. I ate pasta, I ate pizza. I mean, I ate sweets, and I lost 10 pounds.
Yeah.
It's the quality of the food. I mean, we have to be in reality here. I don't know what the solution is, but
So I got to move to Italy.
yeah, I mean, I was
Uh,
thinking there, I would go back for sure and spend a couple of months there. I think I could lose another 20 pounds.
and just eat all the stuff because I like sweets and stuff. But I wanted to ask you like when you so like when you're in Italy because the acting style with Italian actors is probably different from like the state actors, right? Like that you've worked with.
Well, the Italian actors that I worked with were incredible. The crew was incredible. I had tears in my eyes the last day of shooting. I was like, I can't believe this. Because, when you do a movie, it's a family that comes together
Yeah,
and creates something together. But I worked with some Italian actors. I probably should get the names. I'm very bad with names, so I have like a brain fog when it comes to it. But a great actor called Roberto, Vincent Raiora, um, Chiara Lezzi. I just really, I had this great cast.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, I have three more questions for you. I wanted to ask, what was it like directing and working with Kimberly Williams? Because I think she's wonderful.
Well, now Kimberly Williams Paisley was wonderful. Yes, she was. She
Yeah,
was just great to work with. That was my first movie. I don't know, it was 25 years ago. I don't even know what I was doing. It was me going to film school. But I did something, I did something. I learned for sure. She was brilliant. She was brilliant. So was the rest of the cast. So, 25 years ago, I also worked with Rob Estes, who is an actor that I just worked with in Italy because he
yeah,
played the agent in this movie Under the Stars, and he's in the movie The Italians. He plays the husband, and so he's a great actor. So he was in my first movie, and he was in my second movie, and he's in my last two movies. And we've done a lot of things creatively together. So I love working with him. Um, so yeah, she was great. And yeah, I love actors. I love working with actors, and I love the collaboration
yeah,
that we have together, and we look into each other's eyes, and you exchange ideas, and you exchange energy, and you give birth to something.
yeah, definitely.
Process of it, I talk about the process a lot. The process is exhilarating to create, but it's also excruciating. It's also, it's sometimes you feel like I got this thing, and then the next moment it's like I have nothing. I know nothing, and I know nothing is probably healthier. It's probably healthier to say to yourself, I just know nothing. So I know my limitations. There's a great moment in a movie that also was an inspiration for me, Terms of Endearment, like I said, for the Italians. And I love this. I don't never say it one, but there's a Shirley MacLaine moment. She's talking to Jeff Daniels, and she goes, you've always been aware of your limitations. It's a wonderful quality. Don't lose it now. So I'm always aware of my limitations, and you know.
Does it ever give you like when you were first starting out, does it ever give you like major anxiety or like how do you because I would imagine directing something and producing something is probably the hardest job than actually acting.
Yeah, I don't get major anxiety. I don't go to that place. I
Yeah,
I go to anxiety, but I don't go to major. I'm pretty even keel. Again, it's like you have to find the balance. I certainly never want to get arrogant that I could say, "Oh, I know how to do this thing."
right.
In a way, I know how to do this thing.
Yeah.
I know how to prepare. I know how to collaborate with, everybody else that's involved in the movie. Um, so I do have a confidence and a calm about myself. Everybody talks about how calm I am, and I am.
You are pretty calm. Yeah.
If I could play classical music and have candles on my sets, I would. My set is very, very chill, very cool. We make jokes. I don't like. There's no yelling.
Yeah.
The day two of this movie, in Italy, somebody kind of yelled, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute! No, 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 no! That's just not going to work for me." Because in a lot of movies you yell, the director yells, and I'm like, no, no, I don't yell. You
Yeah.
know, everybody chill a little bit. This is not what's happening on this set. Um, so yeah, very lucky to have worked with these great peoples that help you to tell the story. Because at the end of it, and I said that when I talked to the whole crew, I said we're all storytellers. You are all storytellers. That's why we're making this movie together.
Yeah. And then my second to last question is: have you ever written a script that you yourself wanted to do, or have you ever tried writing
Oh,
a script?
yes. Yes, 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 and I will. So far, everything's been offered to me, but I am working on several, I'm developing several projects that I'm writing,
Yeah.
and I'm co-writing, I should say, with my son. I shouldn't say I'm not the sole writer. My son just graduated from USC
Oh,
last.
nice. Go Trojans.
Yes, go Trojans. It
Yeah.
was a beautiful, beautiful graduation. And he writes and he also directs. He's going to write and direct his first feature probably next year. Um, and so we work together, we write together.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, writing scripts because I do that, and I think that that's the most funnest form. Like I said, I'm not the best actor, but I'm really good at writing a story. So I think that that's pretty fun. And if you could do that and direct your own vision, I think that's more kudos to you.
Totally. But more and
Yeah.
more people are doing that.
Yeah, that's like the new style that a lot of people, because now there's so many elements that you can make your own movies. You don't really need studios or anything. You could just get an iPhone and do it?
Well, that's how Tangerine got nominated for an Oscar. They put lenses on their cell phone.
Yeah,
If you do the right lighting and you have sound, which is easy to get one of the little boxes to record sound,
yeah,
you can definitely do something that's very worthwhile on your phone.
yeah. I'm doing that with my new movie called Orange.
Great, congratulations. That's great.
No, that was a bad joke. Sorry,
Oh,
because you said tangerine. Uh,
oh, I see. You got me.
ah, I have a very sophisticated sense of humor, and that means it's
You
probably
got
not
me.
funny. And then my last question is if you could go into a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
You're okay.
Oh, okay.
You're enough. You don't have to be all that. Whatever it is that you are, you're okay.
Yeah, great. Well, where can the folks at home follow and support you? Do you have a social media, or like how
I
do
think
people reach you for acting classes and all
uh,
that stuff?
so. Yeah, so there's a website, Michelle Danner Acting Studio, Los Angeles Acting Conservatory, and then there's the Instagram. You can DM me, Michelle Danner LA or Actors International. You can find me. I'm online.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you and talk to you, and hopefully one day you could direct my terrible movie 2 or something.
Keith, it was
It's
really, really nice to meet you. Thank you so much for doing this interview.
of course. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much, and continue to smile. I love you.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
All right. All right, guys. That was the interview with Michelle Danner. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys next week on Razor Riffs. Big bang shout out